Kia ora and welcome back to the channel. I'm Elvie and today we are doing a first impression video on the Holbein gouache. I'm changing it up from saying it's a review to saying it's a first impression because it is my first impression of the gouache. And I think it would be nice to do some videos later down the track of me revisiting some products I have reviewed here and say if I'm still using them and if they're still as good as I initially thought or worse. So that's kind of the introduction here. I bought this on Jackson's. I'll put a link to it in the description below if you're interested. I bought it for I think $22 New Zealand, which is really good for gouache, especially professional gouache. Holbein is definitely one of the more affordable products out there if you wanted a taste of gouache. That's just price wise. I'll see how the products go. I haven't tried Holbein gouache before, so I'm hoping all goes well. It comes in this like little box and like a little bit of plastic here. I'll be right back with you. I just used some scissors and took it off. First impression for both of us. What? So these are 5ml tubes. You get a carmine, a lemon yellow, ultramarine deep, ivory black and permanent white, and then a bit of foam here. I believe this is the same box the watercolors come in, except they have that sixth color. I actually have that set on its way, so there will be a review on that at some point. That's also quite an affordable watercolor set for trying out their gouache. Watercolor, sorry. The next step will be swatching. Put that over here and I shall prepare for swatching. As a side note, I'll be using just a porcelain plate for my swatching. So if you're ever looking for a palette and you don't know what to use, porcelain plate works great. It'd be better if they didn't have the lip, but they are an amazing palette to use for watercolor and gouache. They just are so easy to clean. Like you just grab a bit of water, wipe it away, seamlessly clean. Before I do that, I thought I'd give you guys a little close-up of the actual gouache. So it's got the name here, number, and then the pigment and light fastness and opacity information just along here. If it focuses, there you go, and they are made in Japan. I'll put the pigment number next to the swatches as well as the colour name. I've only poured a little bit of gouache onto the palette. You don't need a lot, and also I prefer using gouache straight from the tube, so it makes sense for me to pour it out onto the plate just in small amounts, just because it activates much more easily. That's just a gouache thing, I find, but each their own. I'll see how it re-wets and stuff probably after the video, and I'll just make sure to take a note of it for the revisit video. And the only comparison I have, like gouaches that I've used before, is just Winsor Newton designer gouache and Schminke gouache, and then some like Hemi and dollar store kind of gouache. So my gouache experience is a little lackluster. I do want to try the M-gram gouache, but that is quite expensive, so I'll get to that whenever I can. I'm just grabbing a little bit with quite a bit of water over it. The white you probably won't be able to pick up just because that's white going onto white paper, but it's not too bad. I'm just going to thickly apply it a little bit. So far that looks pretty good. Probably looks like I'm just painting nothing on the page. This is PW6 and it says semi-transparent. Next is ivory black. Ivory black tends to be quite, sorry about that buzz. Ivory black tends to be quite opaque, so shouldn't see too many problems. Gouache, you can use it in a range of ways. You can use it like watercolor if you'd like, or similar to acrylic paint where you can use it quite heavily. And this black is a single pigment with PBK 6. Next we have Ultramarine Deep, which tends to be a much more transparent colour. That's just generalising it, and it also does say it's a more transparent colour, as you can see. This one was slightly separated from the binder, but that's okay. It can be easily mixed back in with it. It's not like the end of the world. Very nice. Very nice ultramarine, but very transparent, as you can see. You can still see the dot down there. I'll straighten this up. Sorry, guys. But this is just PB29. The pigment number, and this one's got 3 stars while the others have 4 stars for the light fast rating. This is lemon yellow. This one only has 2, but you only need to worry about light fastness if you want to sell your work, or if you put it in a window in direct sunlight. Now you may or may not notice I've actually finished swatching. That's because my camera storage was full, so it stopped on me, but I'll still read through it. The pigment, so the lemon yellow is PY3 with 2-star light fast rating, and the carmine red is PR170 with a 2-star light fast rating as well. I don't know if you can tell, but I did do a second layer just on half of the black dot down here, just to build it up to see how opaque it looked with a second layer, and then I did a very light wash over top of the names to see what it looked like watered down a lot. The ultramarine deep, not unsurprisingly, it granulates, so that's just something to be aware of when you're using the gouache. And if it's your first time using gouache and you haven't used watercolor before, that's just something to note, that it does have a texture, and it's not you, it's the gouache, which is a beautiful quality once you get used to it. Another thing I have added is the price down here, and I've also fixed my spelling mistake up here, but I paid $23 New Zealand. That's not including shipping. This is from Jackson's. And so that's the facts. I've put the date here. This video won't be out for another couple of weeks though, because I've got to do a sketchbook tour, and there's other videos coming out before this one. So that's just everything, and now we can finally get into painting. So I guess we'll get into it. I probably will, it won't be like just complete me painting. There'll be like parts where it's like I've stopped the video and coming back to it after a while and seeing different parts of the painting done. I think I worded that awfully, but that's okay. I'm just painting a photo I took from one of my hikes, of me holding a cherry ripe, which was my delicious chocolate snack. Of course. So far, like first impressions again, I do like this color selection. You don't have a cool blue, but you do have a cool other 2 primaries, which is good. But the lack of a cool blue means you won't get your clean greens, but that's okay unless you really wanted the clean greens, of course. But I find it's a good palette of colours. In the white and black, although you might not find the black as necessary, I find it is a nice colour just because convenience colours are nice, especially if you're not quite used to mixing your own greys or blacks, or you want a very striking colour. It's quite nice to add and to deepen colours you've got. And yeah, now I'm gonna do a little bit off camera here, and I'll come back to you guys with an update on how I'm finding it. I also forgot to mention a few things, which included, just like all the other palettes, I pay for these paints with my own money. So there's no biasism. It's just me painting for the fun of painting. I like gouache. I like watercolor. I want to, try a lot of different brands to see what one works best for how I paint and where I live as well. It can be quite hard to get affordable, high quality paints here in New Zealand due to geographical location. So I thought I'd just mention that there's no biasism in my reviews here on the channel, as well as the sketchbook. The sketchbook is Winsor Newton 100% cotton paper. It's my staple. I have used this on since the channel started, I believe. But it's 100% cotton. It's 200 DSM, so it's not the thickest of the thickest, but it is really nice, high quality paper. So it will be showing the gouache at its finest. And I think there was gouache is not my main medium, so it might not be represented in the best light. I'm not sure how to describe that, but I might not be showing it at its best capability just because I'm still learning gouache. I don't use it as often as I do with watercolor, and there's going to be things I don't know about gouache, and there'll be plenty of educational videos out there if you did want to learn gouache, or about this paint in particular more closely, or something like that. But so far I'm finding this really, really nice to work with. The colours are mixing really nicely. They're very bright and vivid, which is good, very good for gouache, especially for the price point. It's very reasonable, and as small as the tubes may look, and they are small, they're very cute sizes actually, they will last for ages. Little bit of gouache goes a long way. The white you might need to replace. It would have been nice maybe if there were 2 tubes of white instead of this little bit of filler, but that's all right. It makes it more affordable, I suppose, and gouache might not be your favorite medium, so it might be for the better that you only get a little bit of gouache. But if you only have the cheap gouache, maybe from a dollar store, or maybe the Hemi gouache isn't bad, but if you want to upgrade, so far I feel like this is a really good brand to try, and I'm really not having any problems with it, which is great because trying new gouache can always be a bit daunting. Trying new anything can be a bit daunting. And if anyone's wondering, this paintbrush is just a synthetic one. It came with a cheap set, I believe, so it's nothing special. It's just one of the smaller brushes I own, and that I have down here. So that's the brush. It's very cute as well, and it fits in my travel set very nice and snugly. So that's the brush. I'm going to do a little bit more off-camera work, a lot more off-camera work, and I'll come back to you soon. I've done a little bit so far, and you can definitely see the granulation up here. I was just thinking, and while I was painting, I was kind of reminiscing about just how much I've kind of progressed on YouTube, and just my painting style, and how much I've improved and expanded, and what I know and everything. And one thing I'd like to just say thank you for is all the lovely supportive comments on your own experiences with the products, things to improve on, and just little comments. They're so lovely to read, and they definitely brighten, just my day up. So I'd like to say thank you for those supportive comments and stuff. And yeah, it definitely makes it quite a communal thing, just being able to read the comments or hear about your own personal experiences with a product, and if they've worked for you or not. When making this video, I definitely am reminded of a comment on my Schminker Gouache set video about them finding the that gouache not the greatest, and me coming back to that video agreeing with them, like, it's not the greatest gouache out there. I definitely have, like, their watercolors are amazing, but their gouache is still not as refined or amazing as some of these more well-known gouaches. And just being able to communicate with you guys, hear your thoughts, and yeah, it's been really fun. This gouache as well has been really fun to use so far. The only thing is it's hard to get that nice orange. I've been finding, and same with the sky, I'm not being able to capture the blue I'm after. But apart from that, it's been a pleasure to use the gouache. It's just the limited colour palette. You can only mix so many colours with the range I've got here, and that's just, I knew that going in. But just in case you're wondering, it is limited in the colours you're able to get. But that's all I had to say on the matter. I'm going to finish the hand off camera because there's a little bit more detail that will go into that. And then I'll come back to you with my first thoughts and opinions. Okay, closing thoughts. The swatches here are dry, so that's what they look like flat. Down the bottom, I've mixed up some of the secondary colours, the cleanest colours I could get, with the red, yellow and blue. So we've got the purple, orange and green. The orange is going to be your main issue if you want your clean, beautiful oranges. It's going to be a bit of a struggle, but you can always make it work. And yeah, so far I'm really enjoying the gouache. I'm excited to use it further, get used to it and how it works. But they definitely are high quality. I can definitely say that. And they will get you started on your gouache journey, or might be an upgrade. And it's definitely an affordable one at that. So those are my thoughts. I'll give you a closer look at the swatches and the painting, and there are the secondary colours down there. So yeah, those are the Holbein gouache. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will hopefully see you in the next video.